Okay, so hi, everybody. I'm Debbie, John, and I just admire all of you for coming out here today, because I don't know if I would have. It is raining.
We're glad you came.
Well, thank you. And accidentally left my glasses in the car, so I've been going without glasses, thanks to all the students who've been reading everything for me today. So thank you. So our topic today is foods that lower cholesterol. What do you think we're going to talk about? Oats, beans, barley. We'll talk about others, but those are what our dishes are made out of today. John's going to do a great oatmeal. We decided to double the recipe. So I've got my barley soup already going, and then I will, once it's done, I'm doing it in the Instapot. We have 7 more minutes. I will release the steam, and then I will do another one. We're doing 2 batches of mousse, chocolate mousse. In honor of it is Fat Tuesday. Anybody celebrate Fat Tuesday? Mardi Gras? Lent starts tomorrow. No more chocolate for me for 40 days. I don't know about you. We're going to have we're trying 2 different batches. You can taste test. The guys made me a batch using avocado, and my other batch is going to use tofu for chocolate mousse. So we'll see how that goes. So oats do help lower our cholesterol. One of the first things you hear about, you got the commercials on oats and Cheerios and everything. It really does. It helps to block the absorption of cholesterol, and it's got soluble fiber in it. So that carries things away, our bile that's made from cholesterol. So it helps to lower our cholesterol. Anybody here love oats? Yes, I love them. I have them every day. Who likes them sweet? Who likes them savory? I'm learning. I'm learning to like them savory. John can talk to that. So John, you want to get started?
Sure. Okay, so oatmeal I figured would be something that everybody's got in the house. So you probably just take your oats, you throw them in the water, you bring it to a boil. And if it's instant oats, you put a lid on, walk away, and a few seconds later, you slurp it down. Or you have the rolled oats, and that's what I was raised on. And good old rolled oats take a little longer, and you still slurp them down and don't think about it. It wasn't until around the time that I had the heart attack that I learned about steel cut oats. And that was on a show called Good Eats. I don't know if any of you know the show, but it is somebody who has fun cooking and doesn't mind telling you how he got there.
Is that Alton Brown?
Alton Brown, yeah. We did a thing with steel cut oats and the crock pot and dried fruit. And I thought, well, good, I got a crock pot that used to cook meat, sitting idly. So I did it, and overnight steel cut oats with dried fruit. Pudding. It's pudding. It is a scandal. I'll make enough for 4 days, and you probably eat 2 days worth just because you're happy. So this is taking that, and instead of doing overnight, we're doing it stovetop. So I've soaked the steel cut oats first for 20 minutes.
In water?
In water.
Okay.
I'm going to add oatmeal to it, mainly because he does. I tell you that I didn't buy oatmeal. It doesn't have any substance of to it. Everything I see about it is just and the vitamins, everything gets added in. And if you get barista, they give you some sunflower oil to make it rich.
I think it's to help the foaming.
I don't care. I go soy milk, but for purposes of gluten-free, bean-free, we're doing oat milk, and this has is oats and water fortification. So we're gonna bring this to a boil. One thing I learned in reading Brown's recipe book was if you put the salt in at the beginning, it's going to interrupt the hydration of the oats and will not allow the pentyl sands that do the glomming of the cholesterol and also the fiber stuff to form perfectly. It's not like, oh, you put it in and you've lost it all. No, it's just a little extra stone. And to get this, bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to add a pinch of salt and let it cook for a bit before I add the rest of the ingredients. In this case, it's going to be blueberries, and then I'm using fresh because there is no sugar and no oil on them. And usually at home I'm using Trader Joe's dried blueberries cooked overnight, and it's delicious.
Why do recipes call for salt in the oatmeal? My grandmother always made it with salt.
Because there's salt gives a little edge that we are used to eating, and sometimes we put in more and more salt because we like salt. But a little salt helps just boost the flavor a little bit, I think.
Okay.
So we'll bring it up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer, and we'll let it simmer for about 10 minutes.
Okay, so if I could just interrupt for 1 sec. So my Instant Pot's done. So my soup, which I'm gonna make another batch, but I wanted to have one first batch. If you haven't used an Instant Pot before, it's a pressure cooker. And so I set it for 20 minutes. And it's not instant by any means because it takes a while to get up to pressure, and then the 20 minutes starts. So it just finished. And then you have, this is what keeps the steam in. And some recipes will say, let it come down to, let the pressure go out naturally, which means you would sit here for 10 or 15 minutes. Some say let it out right away. And this recipe calls for letting it out right away. It says the barley gets a little too gummy. So I'm gonna let it out, and steam will go everywhere for just a minute. And Leanne taught me last time I'm supposed to cover it with a towel. So I will do that. Try, Leanne, try.
Because you work at Betty Mater.
What?
Because you work at Betty Mater.
Oh, I know, that's right. I'll get this. Flipping you a shrimp.
I learned that because I don't like cleaning the steam off my cupboards.
Oh, yeah, and you're right.
Yeah.
I try to move mine away. So
I
it
do
doesn't get
too,
on.
yeah.
And it takes a while to let all the pressure out, and then it's just gonna be soup, which is awesome. And we didn't have to touch it. I did have a lot of students helping us today with all the chopping and everything, so I really appreciate that. What are you doing? Or should I go on? Because I will.
Well, there's just some little things about oats. The Samuel Johnson referred to oats as fine for horses and also good for Scots. And Boswell, his biographer, said, you have fine horses and fine Scots. This is really something that gets overlooked time and again because it's morning food. It's something that you get out of the way so you can do the day. With savory oats, we will probably have it this evening because I got a recipe for it that is dangerous. It's one of those things where it's a young person who is experimenting like crazy and puts miso and tamari, California ingredients. And then puts greens and garlic and then chili cruise. Which is a violation of the law, but we save our oil budget for those violations, so we can have our teaspoon. I made it yesterday. I will give you the recipe, but it's dangerous at this point. We have to trim it down. It's. And it can do any vegetable you want. It is a palette. You can kind of think of this oatmeal as a palette. The basic recipe is what you can see, and then we're gonna add in things that are for the moment. So you can use any dried fruit and fresh fruit. You can get beyond, let's go down a little, get beyond the limits of oatmeal with sugar and milk. That's all I had for decades. This can be fun. This can be absolutely scandalous. And not something that you want to race through to get on with. This is something that you go, oh, yeah. Let's take some time with this. This is food. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. So now I'm using my same Instapot. I didn't even wash it because we're doing the same thing in it. And I'm going to set it on saute. So the reason why I bring my own is because the one we have here is a great Instapot, but it doesn't do the brown saute in the same pan. So all we do is I'm going to do onion and garlic and just brown it. It says to add oil or water. What I actually like to add is just a little of the broth I'm already going to use. And just put that in there. And then it's just going to saute those up for a little bit. Now, my soup, the reason that I picked it is because it's made from barley, or it has barley in it. You could use any type of grain that you wanted, but barley is one that also has that soluble fiber that helps lower your cholesterol. Now, who here just loves to eat barley? Do you? Most people we were raised on beef barley soup, right, from Campbell's, but then we never used it again. So soup isn't the only thing it's good for. What else do, you barley eaters? What do you do with it?
That's it.
That's it, soup?
Yes.
Okay.
Salad.
Salad. So like you have a cooked barley and you add it to a salad. Excellent. Or you have the salad with like vegetables in it. Perfect. Okay. Anything else you do with barley? Beer. We do have beer. You're right. I would make, just like oatmeal, I would make barley for breakfast. You mix it with water or a fluid and you cook it and then you got it for breakfast. You can make barley for a pilaf for dinner tonight. You could take that, have some for breakfast, and you take the leftovers of that and have some for your salad at lunchtime. It's really great. And it's got that soluble fiber that helps to lower our cholesterol.
How long does it take to cook?
Okay, that's a great question. So there's different kinds. It's hard to find the hulled barley, which is the kind that still has all the fiber wrapped around it. I have trouble finding that. Most recipes call for pearled barley, and it really doesn't take very long to cook that. I don't have my glasses on. I just did it cook for 45 minutes. It's like brown rice, I guess. But I don't know, anybody here have Winco shoppers here? I've not even found the whole barley there in the bins.
I got it over at the co-op.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. So I'm just going to saute my onion and garlic a little bit. And then I'm going to add the rest of my veggies, which are carrots, celery, bell pepper. And my bean is going to be edamame, a soybean. And this helps to lower your cholesterol too. I know some of us have heard some bad things about soy products, but the latest research really shows that soy is good for us, even in reducing our risk of cancer, including breast cancer. And so edamame are great. In fact, in my savory oatmeal, I use edamame, and I usually have a bag that's already shelled out of the pods in the freezer that I can just throw in my oatmeal. I keep talking because I will.
Well, I did a couple things on barley. One is,
Okay.
there's a lot of chewing that goes. on.
You know, that's just,
This is not a graceful grain that you can sort of nibble a little bit and then you're done. This is something that is, if you've got it on a spoon or a fork, you're committing yourself to a little bit of time.
I think that's what makes it so good. It's super high in fiber. You eat it slowly.
Yeah, fiber might be a dangerous word to say with this. But it's good, is the thing. I
Okay.
like it, I've used it in bread. That's a
Ah,
component in bread. And it doesn't add a ton of flavor, but it adds a little change. It gives you some texture. And I know malted barley ground up is very good. In fact, gold medal whole wheat flour used to include malted barley as part of their whole wheat. Because it would round out that wheat flavor in whole wheat. They don't do that anymore. So I don't buy it anymore.
mhm.
Could
Uh,
you compare Faro,
I'm sorry?
Faro? The,
Yeah,
It's a great grain too.
Yeah, and you can do that, cook that, either soak it and then bake it in bread or grind it and use it as a flour. I don't notice a lot of taste difference with farro. I like farro as something that's new to me. I found that I'm learning to like it with salads. Because it's a texture, most salads are crunch and then it's sour. And with farro, it stays with your mouth. It is good for, yeah. I should pay attention to this.
I like
Yeah.
faro. In fact, I went to Trader Joe's yesterday to try to get some more barley because I didn't know if I had enough. And they didn't have any, but I did get a little package of 10-minute faro. So they must have cooked it a little. And I went to get edamame. But they didn't have the normal freezer bag that I have. So they had this in the fresh section. But they did add some salt to it, which irritated me. So it comes in a vacuum sealed pack. You could throw it in the freezer when you get home, but I just opened it up and rinsed it off. So you rinse off about 40% of the sodium when you do that. I'm adding that in. So we've got our barley to lower our cholesterol. We got our soy to lower our cholesterol. Then the broth I used, it's a low sodium broth with bouillon. Yeah, I have that. Linda has it here, so that's what I used. 2 cubes for 4 cups of water. And grains you really can use interchangeably. To make our point, I'm using barley today. But you could use any other grain in here. You could use any other bean. You could use lentils. Another thing that helps to lower your cholesterol is I'm gonna call for some time. You need to do your part. I'm pretty done.
Okay. For me, one of the discoveries of playing with food is that cardamom and blueberries are a happy combination. As a youth, blueberries always had cinnamon, whether it was in a pie, in a cobbler, any fruit that got cooked had cinnamon. While cooking, Lord knows what now. I mean, I thought blueberries might be good with it, so I mixed them. And it turns out it's a spectacular change of taste. So I'm going to inflict it on you. This is an arbitrary amount. This is just a teaspoon. This is a yeast jar, by the way. I bake a lot of bread, so all my spices wind up in amber glass that don't, in ultraviolet light, the vital whatever's don't disappear. So get the cardamom in. One of the things that we may, if we can't taste enough of it, you may add later. It does one thing with cardamom and cinnamon both, at least for me, when the spice is in there, my sense of sweet says it's gonna be sweet. I'm not adding a sugar here, I'm adding a different flavor, but I'm getting a sweet sense. Much like liquid smoke gives you a salt sense. It doesn't give you salt, it just gives you that salt should be there in that place. So that's, we've got cardamom here, this is gonna sit. And I'm now gonna throw in the blueberries and then let it steep. This being America, I've underdone it. We should over blueberry just because here we are. And because we're in California, I should have put in 2.
Maybe, you're right.
But I make fun of this stuff, but I couldn't live anywhere else at this point, so I have to explain why we live it up here.
Berries are another thing that lower our cholesterol, is if we didn't have enough things.
And blueberries with the blue and anthocyanins.
Anthocyanins, you're right.
So put this down to very low in steam.
Okay,
In 5 minutes and it will set.
all right. So then I'm gonna work on my mousse. So the recipe, we got 2 recipes. Well, really, they're the same. But one is tofu chocolate mousse. Has anybody had that before? So chocolate mousse, if you haven't even had chocolate mousse, it's like a pudding, chocolate pudding. Although John says mousse means foam. So let's add air in it. And some recipes call for avocado. So we did 2. The guys earlier made me an avocado batch, and now I'm gonna do the soy batch, the tofu batch. Tofu is the one that really is made from soy. It's mixed into it. No, I'm gonna move it over there to blend it. I use the silken tofu. That's the one you normally would use in a smoothie. It's not as chunky. It blends up very smooth. And so I will tell you what the mistake I made last night when I was practicing was that I just throw this whole box in there. And it really only calls for 10 ounces, and this is 16. So mine came out pretty liquidy. That's not to say that when I stuck it in the fridge and opened it this morning, it wasn't edible, because it was. It got a little firmer, but I'm gonna use the proper amount this time. Drain any water off of it. Well, I hope it's the right amount.
Say that again. You weren't on camera.
Oh, sorry. You don't have to drain this one, but that usually has a little water in it. So you just kind of pour that off. But if you used regular tofu, or if you watched us do tofu before, if you get the firm or the extra firm, you have to press it to get the liquid out, and then it can absorb flavors better. You don't have to do that with the silken, or at least not for this recipe. Have you ever done that with silken?
Never.
No. Yeah, I never have either. So I'm using about half my box, a little more than half. Okay. Now, when we did the avocado one, instead of tofu, we used 3 ripe avocados. Did we use 3? Yeah, I think we used 3. Now that added a different fat to it. So I'll be curious the difference in textures and flavor. And then I think somebody made me my chocolate. Yes, thank you guys for doing this. So I used my chocolate chip of choice. Now, these are dairy-free. It doesn't make them healthy. They're still not all that great for me, but it's Fat Tuesday, so we're gonna do it. But these are the ones I get at Trader Joe's because they're cheaper. And they've started slowly raising the price on them. They used to be like $2.99, and now yesterday I think they were $4.49.
Oh.
So it's going up. But you could also get the Enjoy Life brand, and that's a good brand too. They're usually like $6.49 at my stores. Even at Winco, they're a little pricey if they have them. But they're chocolate chips. You do about 3/4 of a cup. and you melt them. And if you haven't melted chocolate chips before, you just hit the microwave for 30 seconds. You stir them up a little, 30 seconds again, 30 seconds again, until it's all melted. I'll tell you one thing I did wrong last night too, was I didn't have the patience to wait. And so I just stirred the chocolate chips in there and thought, oh, that's good enough. But my version came out a little chunky. Which, you know, it's chocolate chips, so how bad can that be? But it wasn't the way it was supposed to be. So isn't it fun when you can eat food that's going to lower your cholesterol and it's really fun food? So I'm using the chocolate chips. Get that in there.
All that wasted chocolate.
I know. Oh, where did you get that?
Well, it's in the refrigerator.
Right.
And this would be one that you would be proud to lick the spatula.
It's my daughter's job.
That was always my job. And then it's going to call for a little cocoa. Now these chocolate chips, they add some fat to them. But cocoa, no fat. It's just chocolate flavor. Okay. Anybody have a recipe? Is it 2 tablespoons?
Yes.
2 tablespoons. Thank you. I can't remember 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons. That was this one. But I can't read it, so I need to go. Teaspoons. Thank you. Yeah. I'm worried if I can't do anything on my glasses. Okay, so 2 teaspoons of these. And then I'm going to add a sweetener of some sort, right? Maple syrup. Thank you, guys. 4 tablespoons. But we might have decided it needed a little more sweet. Got a little heavy. So I do my bartender pour. There's a little extra in between. That's all right. Back from my bartender days. Okay. And then a little vanilla.
1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being my eyes. Okay. Now I will tell you when we made the first batch with avocado, John, who is our amazing taster, tasted it and said, it needs a little citrus. So they added a little more chocolate and they zested a little bit of orange in there and it really changed it. It was really good. Do you think we should just start that right off the bat? Will you come zest for me? Thanks. And then I'll take it back there. Okay. So then we're going to blend it up until it's like the texture of a mousse, like you like. I think by adding the avocado, it made it a little bit bigger. A little more. Now, you do whatever you think. You are the creator.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That's one of John's favorite tools there, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Oh,
You want the
Howard.
We can always add a little more.
Well, we're here to patrol the plugging concept.
Hey,
You
you're not-
I was watching her.
oh, Tom, we have learned. I should say it's me who's finally learned.
You can't
Okay,
plug
So we will
things
spin
in
that when we're done.
on the
chatting.
same panel or.
So what other things help lower your cholesterol?
So we've got this
Lipitor.
one plugged in down there.
That's all we know.
Plugged in there.
So I'm just gonna take some Lipitor, so I don't have to do all this. You know, they have done studies that showed that by changing the foods that you eat, it will lower your cholesterol almost as much as taking Lipitor or a statin.
Hmm.
But it's not just adding the foods, that although that's a big part of it, it's also taking away the things that do raise your cholesterol. So what would be some things that raise your cholesterol?
Beef.
Beef,
Eggs,
eggs,
Butter.
butter, thank you very much.
coconut oil.
Coconut oil,
Cheese.
cheese,
Cream.
cream. Oh, you guys got that list down. Yes. Okay, so we really want to stay away from the animal products. It generally contains saturated fat. Coconut oil and coconut is a little different because it's a plant food, but it does have a lot of saturated fat. And no matter what our government is telling us right now, saturated fat has been shown to raise our cholesterol levels. And so we should be limiting those foods. But then on top of that, adding foods that help to lower our cholesterol, our oats, our beans, our barley, our fruits and vegetables, our soy products, those are going to help lower our cholesterol, just like taking a medicine. Now, wouldn't it be great to not have to take a medicine? And even if you think, well, maybe it's only going to lower it a little. Well, what if we cut our dose in half and now we have a lower copay, or we're paying for that only every other month instead of every month? So that's what we're trying to do, is make our lifestyle changes so that we don't need to be on the meds, or we could at least reduce them. And there's definitely a place for meds.
Yeah,
But-
the other side of that is it should taste good. You mean, don't eat something because it's good for you.
You're right, Joe.
That's a one-time shot. You have to want to come back and have it again. You want to eat something that is sweet or savory, or something that you want to eat. And it should be a good soup. It should be a good cereal. There are all kinds of things that make the quality of life good. You're not sacrificing by having to take the pills and all. You are adding to the life you're living. And it's, as much as we count the numbers and say this is good and the reason why it's good, not when you got a fork in your hand. Do you eat it? Do you like it? And you're gonna like this.
Why is cholesterol bad, Deb?
Cholesterol that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we eat cholesterol, and it's really more saturated fat that raises our actual LDL cholesterol, not so much the cholesterol as much, but cholesterol clogs our arteries. It forms the plaque inside our arteries. So we're trying to reverse that. And with a whole food plant-based diet, that's the only diet that's been shown to help reverse the plaque in your arteries. So thank you. Good question.
And
Not
Debbie,
I brought it home.
The other thing that wasn't mentioned that it could be my downfall is the processed sweet things that all have tons of saturated fat, like the cookies and pastries. Those are loaded with, they don't have any meat, they're not meat, but they are high in saturated fat.
That is very true. And I think we talked a little last time about how when we eat those processed kind of foods with no fiber, like the foods we're eating today are high in fiber, but the processed food doesn't get down to our lower gut, which is where we make that GLP-1, which is that medicine lots of people are taking now to help lose weight. So if we're eating high fiber, the bacteria in our gut will make that GLP-1 because the food will get to that part. But generally in America, we eat processed white flour stuff and it doesn't get all the way down there. And so then we need to take a shot to get it. Well, we don't need to, but we do.
So where does it go?
The GLP-1.
No, the food that doesn't get down into your gut.
Oh, it gets kind of pre-digested up here. Eventually we get rid of it, but it gets all the good stuff gets pre-digested before we get down. Well, there is no good stuff. There is no good stuff in that. But yeah, it breaks down before it gets down there. So it's fiber that gets down to our lower intestines and the bacteria work on it. And that bacteria make these short chain fatty acids that now help with our inflammation and help with our digestion and help with everything. So thank you.
There was a story in I think the NPR or the Times about telling whether your starch is soluble or insoluble, or
Yes.
or ultra processed. This is she took bread, a baguette,
Oh,
Yeah.
and a homemade whole wheat bread, put it in water, let it sit for 4 hours. The one that was ultra processed left a cloudy solution. The whole wheat held together and left clear water.
Mhm.
They said that's the quick, simple, everybody can check for, do they have ultra processed? Is that, if there's no structure there to hold it in place, it is.
Interesting.
That stuff. Yeah, it was just yesterday or the day before.
Okay. Remember when you used to like put something in Coke and let it sit? We did that when I was like in grade school. What was that?
A tooth.
Was that tooth?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dissolve it.
And then it ate the tooth, right?
Okay, so the bottom line is enjoy your food.
Battery acid.
There's lots of foods that you can eat that will help lower your cholesterol, so it's your food's gonna love you. So that's what we want you to do is love your food. And so I think my weapon, thank you. I will bring my soup, my first made soup. This one will. On. Any questions, any thoughts, anything you're like wondering, how do you do that? You guys are kind of quiet today.
Oh, we're hypnotized.
I'm hypnotized. Yes, by the excellent food.
Good stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the other soup over and the first mousse. And then while you guys are collecting your food, I'm gonna blend up the second mousse. And then we'll have that served too to do a taste test. Anything else, John?
I think that's it. I think that's it.
Okay. Come on.
I think I'm glad because if I ask something, Ron is gonna say, I
Okay.
know that.
Here's our got a little pepper. Here's our first mousse. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Was it? Okay.
We are done.
First, this is made with avocado.